Hi, fellow traders. What's happening? I hope you guys had a good day today. Yesterday we were dealing with a train wreck. Today we're dealing with the aftermath. It only makes sense that we deal with the aftermath today. Now, the most popular question that I've gotten in the last 24 hours is, after a day like yesterday, how do you move forward? How do you come into today and be successful? And it goes back to one of the most basic fundamentals. One of the first things I teach you and it's reflection. Reflection is a tool, it's a process that helped me be a successful engineer. It helped me be a successful teacher. And when I brought this into my trading, it accelerated my learning curve to where I couldn't even measure it. This reflection is by far the most influential piece of my trading puzzle. And it wasn't until I brought that in that I started to see significant progress in my trading. You're not going to go from zero to $5,000 overnight, but it gives you a tool that's going to help you plan a path to get there. And so all I did was I took those trades, and I talked about in the video last night, I talked about a lot of the things that I identified. And it all came through the reflection process. Because all I do is I look at my trade through a different lens. I zoom out, I look at what the market was doing, how I felt about what was going on. I'll analyze my entries and exits. I grade my execution. I form a conclusion based on everything. And then I come up with an action plan. What am I going to do to ensure I don't end up with another day like yesterday? And if there's something that I need to jot down and put on my accountability monitor so that I can remember it every day, or look at it for 2 weeks, it may say, hey, you need I had to remind myself not to do this or not to do that. And I'll put a post-it note. I'll write it to myself, put a post-it note on my accountability monitor so I can read it every morning. And it'll make me aware to not make that mistake, or to try to avoid falling into whatever trap. Once I do that, everything else gets filed away and closed, and that's the end of the day. So when I come in the next day, I'm coming in fresh. I'm not bringing any baggage in from the previous day. If you come in with a backpack on with all of your garbage from the last couple of days, especially the day where you might have had a really bad day, and you're bringing all that baggage, number one, it's doubtful that you would even take a trade that day. If you did, it'll probably be the worst entry ever, and you probably wouldn't manage it worth 2 cents, because you're still thinking about what happened the day before, and all you're thinking about is trying not to do the same thing. But that's not the mindset that you want to come in the market with. The mindset you come in is if the day before never happened, whether it was a bad day or a good day. You got to come in like the day before never happened, and tomorrow's not promised. You focus on what's in front of you that day, and if there's some adjustments you made, you've already got them written down, so you don't have to think about anything else. And that's the key. So for me, that's where I'm at with this. But one other question that I get, and a lot of times it's from members that are somewhat new and they haven't really gotten used to the process, I'm really focused on my watch list. I don't care what any other chat room put out. I don't care what anybody put out on Twitter. None of that matters. The only thing that matters to me is what's on my scanners. And once I go through that, I'm not going to fill a whole lot of dead time talking about this, that, and the other thing. Because we're focused on trading and making money. And that's where everything needs to center around. So that's what I do. And I'm not going chasing stocks. I just don't do that. That's not something I do. There are price range of stocks that's in my wheelhouse. Can you trade these strategies on, $20 stocks? Yeah. If there was a $20 stock that set up, I'd be willing to take it. A $30 stock that's set up, yeah, I'd be ready. It's just that these last couple of days, the $150 to $175 price range has been hot. And then you're going to go through a period where the $30 to $50 range is hot. And it's just the way the market moves. So you have to be willing and able to trade whatever the market is giving you. If they're higher price stocks, you size down. The lower price stocks allows you to size up a little bit. But definitely your risk has to stay the same, or else you're going to be shaky in the trade. But I stick to whatever it is that's on my scans and all of that. I don't chase anything else because I know what I have is what makes me consistently profitable. And I know that if I lose, I can lose 3-4 times in a row. If I stay consistent, I know my strategy, my process, and everything works. It's just going to come back around. And we'll be back on track. So, I hope I answered you guys' question about, why I don't continue to look for other stocks. That's when people get in trouble. And it goes back to what I was talking about on Monday, chopping around the tree. You don't want to do that. You end up wearing yourself out and you end up losing in the end. So you're going to see me focus on 1 to 3 stocks. And the ideal day is for me to trade 1 stock all day. But, the potential to trade 2 or 3 is always there, depending on how the setups fall. All right, so we're going to take a look at today. Oh, the last question. No, I'm not doing the specials like I did last year. If you have a subscription and you have that special yearly price, as long as you don't cancel it, you'll keep getting it. What I've done is every membership has a path toward being a lifetime member. So let's say if you just want to do monthly and you stay with me for 18 months, you automatically become a lifetime member, and you'll never pay me another dime for anything. If you are a quarterly member and you sign up over 6 quarters total, then you'll be a lifetime member. And you'll never have to pay me another dime for your membership or anything. If you are a yearly member and you do 2 years, then you automatically become a lifetime member. But it's all based on the regular price, not based on sales or anything like that. So we won't be doing that anymore. The special that I do have is the GPS to Success, which is It's the same price as a quarterly, but it's 6 months, and it comes with the one-on-one mentoring. And so again, you do 6 of those over the course of the next couple years, then you'll be a lifetime member and you'll never have to pay me another dime. You get everything, the classes, whatever I put out. We're starting the tax class next week. You guys get it for free. And it's worth a lot of money. Put some time in on it. And it costs money to go to, these tax workshops. So, it's worth some money, but you guys don't have to pay for it. So if you go on the website, you'll see that the membership thing has changed. But remember, as long as you have that sale price from previous years, as long as you don't cancel it, it'll keep going. But once you cancel it, it's done. I can't go back. We've changed and we moved on from our previous provider. So all of that is changing. All right, so let's take a look at our trades from the day. Now, today was really, really difficult because of the swings and everything that we got. And it wasn't anything that I did wrong. The only thing that I take out of this is, hey, maybe I need to look at my volatility stops a little bit differently when the market is the way it is. Okay, the market was really choppy. It's been that way for a couple days. And I may have had my volatility stop too tight. So in that case, I size down, give it a wider stop, and allow the trade to work. Or I could always add back once it, starts moving in the right direction. But whatever the case, I need to make sure that whatever I identify, that is consistent, and it's not something that I'm doing here, there, and everywhere. It's an adjustment that I make if the market shows me this or if the market shows me that. So that's kind of what I'm taking away from these last couple of days. But this was, a textbook opening range breakdown. I got to my first target, which was in between these two levels. But I got to my first target here. And my second target was going to be down here, 155.85. I think I had 155.90 out. But it turned around and I didn't like the feeling. You can see we had two big bottoming tails. Even though this one made a new low, it got bought up so aggressively that I just took it off. I'm like, why would I sit here and watch this? And had I left it on, it would have taken me out at break even anyway. And I would have had to short into this level again, which I don't mind doing this on the initial move, but the secondary move, there's no way I'm going to short into this. It'll have to be under this level. And then as soon as you see this, we've got this. So I didn't trade this at all. I kind of waited until I saw some really good weakness, and that's when I got back in. Yeah, I could have got in on the break of this 156.80 and taken some off here for a point. But I kind of waited. I was being a little bit more patient, and you could see what happened. This thing snapped back, stopped me out, but only moved a couple of cents. So here, I thought I was good, having a couple cents over the VWAP, but I did not give it enough. And so I really should have been in 200 shares and given it a little bit more room, and this trade would have worked beautifully. So ended up getting stopped out here. And then this time I'm like, I'm not making the same mistake. I'm getting in And I got in, and this was a perfect entry. What happened to me when it started to bounce, I was like, let me put my stop in. So I went to put my stop loss in and messed around and did a limit. And then that was that. So, I just got frustrated. But here's the problem. This was all on me. The trade did exactly what it was supposed to do. The initial thesis from the morning worked to perfection. The only person that messed this trade up, it wasn't the market. It was Ed. It was me not executing as well as I should have, or as well as I could have. And that's the notes that I take from this trade. And yeah, I could have jumped back in, but the problem was I started working on Roku. And that's one of the things that I need to not do is I started thinking that, hey, this thing isn't going to work. Let me start working on Roku because I know this is going to go back to 150. I know how Roku works. And so having a lack of focus here cost me a ton of money. I could have been in both these trades and made a ton of money. And these trades were slow and meticulous. So, it can be done, but I shouldn't have been doing it sitting at lunch with a little 11-inch screen laptop. I could be here at my desk where I have all the resources that I could watch two stocks at the same time. So really, the only person that I could blame on this is Ed. Yeah, the market was a little choppy, but Ed needs to make the adjustments. The market doesn't need to adjust to me. Ed needs to adjust to the market. Make those tweaks. You don't make wholesale changes to your strategy. You just tweak it. If you have to change your risk management, change it. But just tweak it. And that's all I needed to do on this. Roku, like I said, I was messing with it. And again, I didn't have the volatility stop. It stopped me out. But I had enough sense to get back in because I know the setup. We didn't lose this level. We didn't lose it at all. So I just had my volatility stop set too tight. And for some reason, I don't know if the calculations were off. And I've showed you guys how I calculate my volatility stop. I don't know if the settings changed or something is wrong with the settings. But I've been getting the wrong number, it seems like. So, that's, like I said before, this is what I'm working on. Do I need to widen the volatility stop? Do I need to make some adjustments to the calculation? Whatever it was or whatever I need to do, that's what I needed to do. So I went back and checked, and it didn't seem like it was off, but, maybe I read it wrong when I went in to do this. But you can see I got stopped out here, and then I jumped right back in because, look, this is a flag. This is bullish. We're sitting on top of support. This thing is going to go. And, this is the plan I laid out. Some of you guys took it. Some of you didn't, but this was as perfect as it can get. So I got in here, sold. It came back, knocked me out. And on the bounce, I grabbed some more. And then we just started scaling out along the way. My last target was right at 152, like 152.05. Just couldn't get over, I think, what was the high? 151.89 or something. Could not get over that. Couldn't get over the hurdle. And ended up taking it off right before the end of the day. But this is beautiful. This is exactly what I like. So my day started out with a beautiful opening range breakdown. It just didn't follow through, but we locked in profit. And it ended with a really nice trend continuation trade. You know, as long as we got the trend, we can make money. And these are trades that are slow. And hey, you could set these. You don't even have to watch this. You can manage it almost like an all-day hold. Once you get in and you set the base for your trend, that hey, if you break the low of this, the trend is dead. You're good for the day. Like here, we made this move up. Here's the low of this last pullback. You could use the low of this candle and get in, make your stop just below the low of this. Even though it's not breaking the trend, the true trend breaker is down here. But this will be a short term, and you know, you should be able to hit some profit targets while you work. This is what I used to do. And when I was at work, this is how I traded my way out of my job. And I love these trades. And it allows me to do other things while I'm trading. I don't have to sit here and be glued to this thing. I can go outside and blow some more leaves because I got so many leaves to blow. I could lay here and watch a movie. If I want to take a nap, if I'm sleepy, I could take a nap and just let this go. You know, this is not the type trading where you have to sit there and you're full of adrenaline. This just isn't it. But today ended up 409.39. So we made a little bit of that back. Not quite half that we lost yesterday. But we weren't thinking about that. Had I been thinking about what I lost yesterday and trying to make it up, I probably would have traded a lot more and been a lot more jumping in, jumping out. Here, you know, me getting stopped out and then me getting back in, that's 100% my game plan. You know, 100%. So it's not over trading. It's not me pushing the envelope. It's me trading my strategy. And, you know, I could have done the same thing on this. Could have done the same thing on CRM and get back in. But by that time, I decided, hey, we're just going to focus on one trade, one stock, and one stock only. And Roku won out because I like the way Roku dances. All right, so that wraps up today. We're going to get back at this thing tomorrow, see if we can continue going back in the right direction. So you guys have a great night, a great evening, and I'll catch you in the morning.